Hey, welcome to another episode of Huddle Up with Mark, the Fun Coach. I'm Mark Duncan. Today, I want to focus this time on talking about getting visits scheduled with your donors or prospects. So often, when I talk with nonprofit leaders, one of the biggest challenges they face is actually getting those meetings. So we've identified people on their list that we know have capacity. So the link, interest, and ability is there. We know that they are donors to the organization, but there's no relationship there. And so that's the piece, that's the next step that needs to be taken. So I want to give you a few tips on how to seamlessly make time for securing those visits. First, I believe that you should spend at least 20 minutes a day. 20 minutes a day. Schedule it on your calendar. 20 minutes to reach out to your prospects or donors. Now, that time can happen at various times throughout the day. In fact, I would recommend that you set that 20 minutes for the morning one day. Maybe the next day it's in the afternoon. I would suggest that one day that you do it in the evening so that you are catching people at home, especially if you're only calling them on their landlines. And yes, there are many donors and prospects that have landlines, but catching people in the evening may be better. I would also recommend that when you're making the call, that you do so if you know that your phone number is not in the donor or prospect's phone, right? So you're likely going to be calling cell phones, or you'll be going to be calling landlines where the caller ID will be clear. You want it known that the call is coming from your organization. Now, if you are personally in their contacts, then go ahead and use your cell phone to make that call. What you're trying to do here is you're trying to maximize the chances of them picking up the phone. Okay. So make sure you're blocking 20 minutes a day, 5 days a week. Spread those times out through different times of the day. And that alone, put it on your calendar, that alone will give you just the time that you need to be able to make these calls. We're not talking about hours a day, 20 minutes. Now, you may reach out to them via email, you may reach out to them via text message. If you know their preferred method of communication, then use that as the way to reach out to them. So if you're already texting with someone, or you know that that person is more responsive to text messages, then send a text and say, hey, would love to set up a time to chat with you. When would be a good time, to talk, or give them some dates, or send them a text message to say, hey, would love to chat with you about a time to get together, and maybe you can hop on the phone. Same thing with email. You can send an email to that effect as well. And of course, a straight phone call. So those are ways that you should be reaching out to your prospects. Not every donor is the same. Everybody's going to be different. Everybody's going to have a different preference in terms of their method of communication. So make sure that you know that. If you don't know that and you happen to call, leave a voicemail. Leave a voicemail and let them know that you called. And then if you have their email address, go ahead and send them an email as a follow-up to that voicemail to let them know that you're trying to reach them. Sometimes those separate points of contact in terms of a message that you leave behind can help in terms of their likeliness to reach back out to you. Okay. So really, really critical that you do that. And finally, make sure that you are consistent. The only way that you are going to get in front of people is to keep trying to meet with them. Don't try to make these calls one day during the week and then you say, oh, well, I tried and I'm waiting to hear back from them. You need to reach out to, a number of folks during the course of the week, but you also want to engage in what I call tactful tenacity. That is the thin line between not trying hard enough to reach them to being a pest, right? So when you're over here and you're being a pest and you're contacting them every day, every other day, that is going to turn them off. On the contrary, if you are not reaching out to them frequently enough, let's say you're trying them once a month, then you're not going to get them to meet with you. Now you've got to find what that happy medium is. What's that fine line? What is that area for tactful tenacity? So it could look something like this. You make a phone call, you leave a voicemail, you send an email as a follow-up. Then maybe you wait a week and then you try again. And then maybe you wait another 7 or 8 days, and then you try again. You spread it out so that you are reminding them that you're trying to reach out to them, but you're giving them enough time to respond to you so that when they see that message, they're going to feel compelled to pick up the phone or pick up their phone to call or pick up their phone to text you so that they can connect with you. So you have to find that happy medium. Again, with everybody, that is different. Some people would welcome a reminder that is more frequent, and some may not. And so you just have to find that sweet spot. And some of you may be looking at me and saying, well, how would I know if I've never met them or talked to them? If you haven't, then I would suggest sort of pacing the number of times that you're reaching out to them so that there's enough space in there for them to call. I would not reach out to somebody that you talked to or left a message for yesterday. I would wait at least 3 days, 4 days before you start reaching out again. And you can spread out that time so that the length of time between each attempt is a little bit longer each time. It is a really, really nice way to manage expectations, stay in front of the donor in terms of you trying to reach out to them, and there is a higher likelihood of them circling back and contacting you to schedule that visit. But the most important thing is to just do it. Activity is everything. If you're sitting and looking at your list and you're trying to analyze what to say, when to call, maybe you need help with somebody to call, which is something else I should mention, and that is using others like board members, other staff members, other constituents to actually make the introduction. That's helpful. I've done other videos on that, but this is really about you making those calls, and you have to be consistent because the consistency is what's going to pay off. Okay? Don't overanalyze. Don't look at your list and come up with ways essentially to not make those calls right now because there's another step or two that you want to take, right? Just get started. The people you're calling are human beings. They would probably love to connect with you to talk about your mission, especially if they're already giving to your organization. So give them that opportunity, but give them that opportunity over a period of times, number of times that you're reaching out to contact them. Okay? So I hope this is helpful to you. Activity, activity, activity. Pick up the phone, whether it's to email, to call, send a text message, and just get started. The sooner you get started, the sooner you are going to be able to meet with those donors, which will enable you to ask for that big gift, thus securing significant philanthropic support for your organization. Hope this is helpful to you. If you have any questions, you can certainly drop them in the comments below, or if you receive the email for this video, then just reply to it with any questions you have. If you're interested in hopping on a coaching session with me, you can get a complimentary coaching session by going to my website at thefundcoach.com. In the upper right-hand corner, there's a green button. You click that, enter the information, and schedule a time to meet with me. You'll also find the link to that below here on the YouTube channel. And finally, if you're interested in learning more from me, my Relationship Fundraising Academy is up and running. I have a number of courses there that you might be interested in. Feel free, you'll see the link below. Feel free to take a look at that and see if any of those courses may be of interest to you. You can take those courses at your own pace, at your own time. All the videos will be there walking you through step by step for each of those courses. So again, I hope this has been helpful to you. And as always, this fundraising thing, it's not about the dollars. It's about what the dollars do for the people that we serve. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.